Mine's next.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about the ethical issues with self-driving cars. I'm Chris DiCarlo.
I'm Kieran Claus.
I'm MD Noor.
So the socio-technical aspects of self-driving cars that we noticed were the natural world is banished and distrusted, which I kind of thought went along with how self-driving cars are being created because people don't trust each other with creating accidents, causing major trauma in lives and such. And citizens conform to uniform expectations, individuality, and dissent are bad, which kind of follows the same premise.
You know what's funny about that line is the natural world is banished and distrusted. That's one of the lines that I used as one of my points in the previous podcast.
Yeah.
The iRobot. So I guess that applies here because some people might not be ready for where technology is going. I know it's a little scary for me to think about having self-driving cars. I'm a car person. I love driving. I don't know if I would ever even get an electric car, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I just realized that we were using that too.
Yeah, iRobot's definitely a great example.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have too much to add on to that point, but I mean, the individuality and dissent are bad. I mean, that's pretty much a big one because I think we're all on the same boat. We prefer to drive our cars than have our cars drive for us. So, I mean, that takes away from a little bit of your individuality right there. So that's just a point I just want to add on.
I think it's a generation thing too. Obviously, the people in our generation and the generation above us, our parents' generation, are the ones that are making these self-driving cars and stuff. But people that are actually going to use them, I think, are the ones that are just being born or yet to be born.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right, safety.
All right, so this is the safety portion of this podcast, and so a quick fact about this: about 90% are actually human error based. So it's us screwing around on the road. So think of you driving over the speed limit, or you have a night out with your friends and everyone drank, so you didn't have a designated driver that day. So what are companies trying to do to mitigate this with their up and coming self-driving cars that they're putting on the streets, and some of them are already out there? Well, we have Tesla that we can use as a great example, and they claim that their new models of self-driving cars are 4 times better than the cars that we have out in the street. And with
That's
your new
crazy.
autopilot mode, I know, right? And then in a couple months with Tesla, I mean, for another like 7K, you can add autopilot, which I think that's a really cool feature to have. And I mean, it's just crazy with what they estimate to be one fatality, 120 million miles driven. I know I'm a lot of miles if you think about it.
Yeah, that's a huge difference with self-driving cars, one per 320 million versus regular cars, one per 100 million. And they're still figuring out this software too. So it's only gonna get better, I think.
Yeah. And then I mentioned when we began this about like when you having a great like night out with your friends, right? Well, that falls under impaired driving. And well, you can drink as much as you want above the legal limit, quote unquote, and the car will just drive you home safely.
It's like Uber without the extra money.
Wonder what the rules would be like for that, considering you can get a DUI just from sitting in a parked car in a parking lot. I wonder if there's still going to be, I'm sure there will be laws saying you can't do that. But then again, you have Uber drivers that probably won't even need to drive. So you just jump in an Uber with nobody in it and it'll take you home.
Which is definitely going to be an interesting concept when it comes about.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And then I don't know, I don't know too much about you guys, but there's this one time, sometimes we, instead of flying places like 2 years ago, before like the whole virus and everything, we took a trip down to Florida. So me and my dad alternated driving, and nighttime driving was a real pain. There's times where me and him were just like so tired, and we have like the newer cars, so like with these cars, it like vibrates when you like go in and out of lanes, which is a nice feature to have. But like with the self-driving car, you don't even have to like worry about that. Technically, just put your hands on the wheel and just kind of fall asleep behind the wheel, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been on long road trips too, and that definitely is going to be helpful.
Yeah, I'm driving home 10 hours next Saturday. I've done it like 4 times in the last 3 months, but all my car has is cruise control, which is good for maintaining my speed and not getting a ticket, which I actually did last time. Cruise control. But yeah, the 10 hours, I have to leave. I usually leave at like 6 a.m. so I don't have to drive at night. It just makes me kind of stay awake better, but it's brutal.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. This can be a huge advantage.
Yeah.
And when you were saying MD, like the vibrations of the cars on the highway, I've seen footage of the Tesla semi trucks, and it's just completely silent. You don't even notice it creeping up alongside you.
Crazy.
Oh, dude. It's like that one scene from Batman where he like shuts off his like all the lights and everything. It's just quiet, just through the dark.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love Batman.
It's a wonderful series.
Is that pretty much it for safety?
Yeah, man, I think we got safety covered.
Cool. Risk management. So basically, in the previous slide, Tesla claimed that their cars are 4 times better, and the stats are obviously a lot better. 1 fatality per 320 million miles versus 1 per 100 million. How can companies tackle this, basically? And the simple answer would be testing. Test. You can never do enough, especially with safety ratings and stuff like that. I know there was some stat that I saw that Tesla did. I think it was the Model 3. It was the SUV one, could hold 4 times its own weight or the weight of something else. And it was like 2 African elephants it could hold on top of itself.
Oh, is this a big Cybertruck?
No.
It's not the Cybertruck?
Oh, like wow. The hybrid?
Yeah. One of the newer ones, I think. But the fact that it can hold, think about how much testing they have to do to be able, even the shows when they threw the metal ball through the windshield of the window of the truck on accident. That just comes
bulletproof windows.
That interview is pretty funny, actually, when I think it's with Joe Rogan when he's talking about how that even happened.
It was like a test window, right?
Yeah, it was a test window, but I think Elon said that before they threw the ball at the window, they were hitting the side panel with a sledgehammer, and they think they cracked the window from that, and you couldn't see it. Like the window was cracked like underneath surface level. So when they threw it, it just went right through.
Okay.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I know he was down bad.
Yeah.
Gonna hide it.
It's like a bulletproof windows. Smack.
Manufacturers as well as rideshare companies using AVs might also want to consider having testers / safety drivers who will obviously sign waivers prior to driving. This will just confirm that the driver will obey all alerts issued by the vehicle and that he or she will not do anything to distract them from watching the road. So you sign a waiver saying you're not going to fall asleep at the wheel, you're going to be attent and still let the car drive, and just don't get distracted. Just be a responsible, how do you say,
responsible driver,
self-driving car.
Yeah, I mean, it ties into like what we talked about in class with like ethics and stuff and technology. So I mean, having some type of legal waiver in place where you kind of waive your rights and let the car, I guess you're letting the car and yourself take responsibility for anything that happens.
Right.
And it's on you. You can't really blame the car for crashing. I mean, you're technically in the driver's seat as well. The car's just assisting you. It's more of a tool for now.
Right. So if you went for a ride in a self-driving car today, I know I would be accompanied by someone else, kind of like a backup driver, someone who is presumably trained and alert and ready to take over driving from the AI system. I'm not too sure how that would work. If you're in the driver's seat, I guess they would be.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Like maybe before they leave the dealership, just go on the test drive and make sure this person knows what they're doing before you sell them the car.
It's weird to think about going for a test drive for a car that drives itself.
You
Yeah.
Test ride, I guess.
just gotta push the start.
Yeah. But yeah, the other thing is, I know in iRobot, and I feel like I've used this example from this movie so many times, considering I did my last podcast on it, but I know that those cars, and it's actually the Audi in that first slide of this, they have a manual override, kind of like a plane, because planes fly themselves, which is weird to think about.
Yeah, they got that autopilot.
Right. So, I don't know how well a manual override would do for cars, because you would think that if the car can self-drive itself, it would make the best decisions because it's reducing human error. I guess just like planes, there would be certain situations where you might want to take over. And I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
like I think they take it off autopilot in like a thunderstorm or hailstorm or something.
Yeah.
Which in iRobot, he took it off the autopilot
Right.
because there was a bunch of stuff
Well,
on
that's a
the
good
road.
point. Yeah, because the car was just going to take him from point A to point B, but he had to interfere with that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to drive him off the road.
Yeah.
I recall.
Cool.
So society's progress on it so far is actually pretty solid. Over here, we have a moral compass. It's kind of a chart where they surveyed over 2.3 million people across the world on their ideas of moral principles that guide drivers' decisions. So we have sparing pedestrians, sparing females, sparing fit, sparing higher status people, just sparing humans, sparing the young, and everybody from all over the world. There's a little graph showing every country and how they all voted, and the colors go with it. And surprisingly, the highest one was sparing higher status people, which I'm sure a lot of people could have problems with. But besides that, yeah, I do too. The sparing the young makes sense for sure, though. I agree with
I feel
that.
like the higher status people are going to be the majority of the ones with this.
Exactly. They're the ones gonna afford it. Like I can't, like if I got a Tesla and I have the money, I'd go for the Model X, but that's like a good 100K right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of like the Porsche electric car bike a little bit. But so Tesla also recently delivered their beta version of the full self-driving autopilot for select customers. And since then, there's been a ton of videos on YouTube and all over the web showing off the features. There's compilations on YouTube of just Teslas dodging out of deers jolting into the road from the side of the woods, and it slows down to a stop and it maneuvers itself out of the way of the car. It's really amazing.
That's that 10K a month package, right?
I think so.
Yeah, you can add on the self-driving feature for 10,000.
Is it 10K a month, or is I think it's just a 10K like feature you pay once though, right? Like you can just add it.
Yeah, I think it's a subscription.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is a computer though, so for all I know, you might be able to hack it and get it all the time.
I mean that too, but like there's no way I would want to pay 10K for like it depends. If it's like 10K a month, I don't think I would pay that for an autopilot.
I guess depends how busy you are or like how long your trip is. Because you could always, I'm sure you could get it for like 1 month and then not have it the next if you're going like on a road trip or something. I think that would be a good idea.
Oh no, if I was gonna put that much money into a car, I would rather have that car just have the autopilot and not even like I would pay the 10K to just have it in the car and like it's always there.
right.
Like I don't think the subscription thing definitely like it hinders like everyday people or like normal people from just even having that option. Like it's to me, it's a deal breaker with the subscription.
I
Yeah,
feel like
there's-
that might be the point. He's getting all of the higher status people to get it.
Yeah.
He's still going to make
Sparing
enough
the higher
money from
status.
doing that, and then he'll be able to perfect it and roll it out, at a cheaper price or not per month.
Mhm.
type
I
thing.
mean, he probably will. Honestly, he's smart. He's a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And there we have the subscription service again for what's happening right now. Tesla is launching its own subscription service for its full self-driving package within the next 3 to 4 months. So that's going to be in full swing. Just a few months coming. It's going to be really cool, I think. If they lower the price, hopefully there's like a week trial for free, and I can just sign up with different email addresses, but probably not. And then I've noticed how other car manufacturers we found online were also moving towards self-driving cars, like Volkswagen and Porsche. I know Volkswagen is currently invested a whole department and a ton of money in level 4 self-driving, which will allow them to permit vehicles to operate autonomously without the driver at all in certain areas like city centers and major highways with their new models, which would be really cool.
I wonder what Volkswagen's going to do with that, because Volkswagen owns a lot of the car industry, even up to Lamborghini. So I wonder if they're just going to push out the cheaper models through Volkswagen in the electric section, and then probably work their way up, I guess, to having all the other top brands come out with them as well.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see a
Yeah.
tiny little Volkswagen Beetle that's just driving on its own.
Yeah, it's smart. It's because they're more common cars too, so
Right.
it's not like a ton of pressure of like, let's say, a Lamborghini getting it first and
Yeah,
Lamborghini
exactly.
crashes and then its name's like partially ruined, kind of thing.
Ford's getting there with the Mustang. There's coming
Yeah,
up.
so what is it, the Mach-E or something? It's their electric one?
I know they have electric Mustangs, which is kind of a
Yeah.
disgrace in my opinion. I don't think you should ever put a muscle car
The muscle car.
with an electric engine.
Vin Diesel would not be happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm not. If I ever saw someone with an electric Mustang, I just ask
Yeah,
them,
I don't know how I
"Where you
feel
going?"
about that. It's like, can you even rev your engine at that point? It's like
Be a
you
little
just hear a
heartbroken.
whistle. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Maybe
but
I'll have
Teslas are becoming the fastest production cars out there, but it's a muscle car. The Mustang's supposed to be loud.
Supposed to take all the gas and guzzle it.
Exactly. So our future, after going over kind of what's going on now, self-driving cars, as you can imagine, will redesign our cities, leaving space for events and just general parking and parking lots. I hope one day that we get to a point where, whether it's electric cars or not, I think they should be able to do this with gas-powered cars, like a muscle car. Have it drop you off and drive itself and then go home and then pick you back up. So you don't have to worry about parking. You set a timer, it'll get there when it gets there. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Tesla's got something like that where it's like it's a
You call-
back-end feature. Yeah, you
Yeah.
call it to come to you.
Yeah, I've read about that. But yeah, so with that comes, event attendees that'll be more willing to travel to mid-tier cities. A good and maybe bad thing, more alcohol be consumed at events because of self-driving cars.
I have a good one for the mid-tier cities part.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know in New York City they have this Randall Island Park where they host
Mhm.
a lot of
Football?
concert festivals and stuff.
Yeah, I know Gov Ball's there. I've been there a couple times.
Yeah, and it's like right in the middle of the city, so
Yeah.
you gotta find like a parking garage or take this train in or something. And that I feel like that would just be perfect because there's like no parking in New York City,
Right.
really. Or it's really expensive, so it's definitely
I wonder how
part of the future.
traffic will be affected, because regardless if it drives itself or not, there could still be the same amount of cars on the road.
I know that when I drive to visit my family in New York and there is traffic, there's usually somebody who crashed a couple miles ahead
Oh,
of
yeah.
me. So
That's
yeah.
true. That's true. Even without crashes, I wonder. Well, I mean, I guess the benefit of this would be able to sleep through traffic.
Yeah.
There's
you don't have to inch up every 15 minutes.
I'll be completely honest with you guys. When there's traffic, I don't like dealing with traffic too much, so I get like a little bit of road rage. So I mean, definitely calm me down a little bit.
Yeah, have the Tesla put the
Yeah,
Yule log on with the common music.
Yeah.
exactly. Like because like it's annoying when you're in the express lane, which is usually the left lane, and that's where people are supposed to drive fast. You have
Yeah.
people that drive slow. It's like go back to the right lane. I'm trying to get to point A to point B as quick as possible.
Yeah. On the
Well, I
same.
mean, there are cars now which like I know in like Philly, 'cause, like I work because I co-op in Philly, and like with like the whole parking tickets and everything, like they love to give you a parking ticket even if you're like 30 seconds away, and you can see them running them down.
Tell
I think
me
like
about
Hyundai's got a car like it'll move to another spot once the meter's out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there
Um,
are like economy brands out there that are making it easier for like us to like at least have a little bit of those premium features without
Yeah.
having to pay that like 40K entry fee for a Tesla.
Imagine coming out from a store and your car moved to a different spot because your meter ran up and you didn't know. I
And
would
like
think
also, where the heck
at
is my
that point.
car, right?
Huh?
I was like, it's like, where the heck is my car? You know, like
Right.
people lose their phones. Now imagine you lost the whole car. It's where you go.
That could be pretty funny if they had like AI and they go to like park one of those 2-3 hour spots, then leave for like 15 minutes and come back. They just pick you up outside the grocery store.
And
I'm not gonna
then
lie, it'd be great for winter times. It's cause like right now, like I remote start my car, but if my car's like right in front of me, all
Yeah.
heated up and everything, such a move.
yeah, the remote starts clutch, especially in the winter.
Yeah.
And then like we were saying earlier, right before I cut you off, sorry about that, Chris.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you could more alcoholic beverages could probably be consumed at events because you don't have to worry about turning down how much you're drinking at the end of the football game or concert or anything because you're getting ready to go home. Instead, you could just keep the party going, I guess.
There's one more thing I wanted to mention that's not on here. Think about hacking and self-driving cars. So let's say I'm not a psychopath, but people get kidnapped in Ubers. It happens. When Uber has self-driving cars, will there be people that are hacking the car, changing its destination? I wonder the possibility and how deep that would go. How
Sounds
I feel
hard would
like
it be
they would
to
have like a backup. You know, how, like airplanes have like a black box, so like when it
right?
goes down,
Oh,
they can
that's
probably
true.
like
Yeah,
figure it out.
That
Yeah, I
could be
feel
a
like
good
they'd have something like that on a car as a backup.
with all that
little
technology.
dash cam, but reverse.
Yeah, that's just crazy to think about.
I don't know.
Didn't
I'm
Tesla
just
market?
thinking if that does become a thing, it's a more solid, steady paycheck for me on cybersecurity.
Yeah, no kidding,
Oh
right?
yeah, no, it helps us CST guys out so much.
I'm with it.
But
I know people have been able to get into their Teslas and remove like the speed limit features and
yeah,
stuff.
I've seen that too.
Didn't Tesla? I don't know, like fact checking on this, but didn't they kind of market it like as their car like almost to be unhackable? Or, like no one's really been able to hack a Tesla.
I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked too much into it
I don't know.
besides.
I feel like I saw something about that like on the internet, and I just didn't dig too deep into it. But I mean, that's great on Tesla's cybersecurity team.
Yeah, definitely.
And if they're not, I'll check them out for co-op.
Yeah. Well, they definitely need a lot more IT guys out there with all this AI software stuff going around. So yeah, I mean, once this whole like virus thing's over with, 2023 boys, when we graduate, we're set.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
And
yeah.
last point, attendees will have more time for meetings and events because time's saved from driverless cars. So like the big CEOs and business junkies and everything, workaholics,
Mm.
I'm sure that they'll just end up doing work on the way to work while the car is driving in the lane.
I was gonna say not only have more time, but they'll be able to get more done because even if you're running late, everything's
Mm.
virtual now. You could jump into a Zoom meeting without have to worry about driving too.
And I know there's no ladies in our group, but for all the ladies, I'm sure that they'll be very happy being able to put the makeup on without having to drive the car at the same time.
Oh my God, yep.
It's definitely safer for us guys that are in the passenger seat. I'll tell you that much.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else?
No, I think this was solid.
Yeah.
Here we have our works cited page. We did do more than 6 because we're very knowledgeable about this subject.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. The ethical issues with self-driving cars.
Yeah, it's been a
Hope you
blast.
enjoyed.